Today's video, I'm going to re-vinyl wrap the nose of my Corvette. Hello, welcome to ET Garage. I'm Eugene Tordo, and like I was saying today, I'm going to re-wrap the nose of my Corvette with vinyl wrap. I just use cheap eBay carbon fiber vinyl wrap. I don't know if you've seen my car in other videos, but it has that vinyl wrap on the nose and on the target top. I did a video on wrapping the target top. That's going to need to be redone in the near future too, but later down the road. But the front one was getting pretty faded and been on there for quite a few years. I think this will be the third time I'm doing it, and so I decided to re-wrap it. Now I had a piece left over from the last time I wrapped the target top that was big enough to do it, but it wasn't in great shape. So I already went ahead, removed the old one. I started to film that, and that went south. So I'll show you that here now. But I just went ahead and removed the old one. You just heat it up with a heat gun and peel it off and clean the surface and remove any of the old glue using something like Goo Be Gone or whatever you like to use. Any imperfections that are on the paint or body will show right through the vinyl wrap, so you want to make sure that's clean. Anyway, I went and applied that other piece I had, but it was like the end of the roll, and it was all like crinkly and stuff. I didn't realize it was in that bad of shape, and I didn't get it on there good. I wasn't happy with it. So I ended up peeling it back off and having to order another roll. So anyway, so this will be the second attempt. That's pretty normal for vinyl wrap. If you ever watch professional people who do it professionally, vinyl wrap for a living, they'll often do it 2 or 3 times sometimes. They'll have to redo it. They just peel off the old piece and crunch it in a ball and throw it in the garbage. So that's what I had to do here, and I'm going to move the camera around, show you what you really need to do it, and then get going on the second piece, or second attempt for doing this. Now let me move the camera around. All right, I'm going to show you what you need to do your vinyl wrap. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional. I only do this once in a while on my own car. This is the cheap eBay vinyl wrap. That's what I've been using. And it will come in a roll like this, depending on the size that you order. Here. And see it here. Lengthwise, as far as the tube length, I believe it's 60 inches is the longest you can get via eBay. If you go to a professional, someone who does a professional vinyl wrap, they'll have these big long tubes. But you can get them in different lengths. Like the length of this, if you roll this tube out, this one here is 96 inches, but you can get like 120 inches. You can get just 12 inches. And if I wanted to, I could have ordered several 60-inch, 12-inch ones, 12-inch ones, and I could have saved money that way, and just hope I was able to do it, the first or second time came out good. Always plan on doing, especially if you're new at it and you're doing a large area, always plan on peeling off the first piece you put on and doing it over again with a new piece. It's just the way it is. One thing you need, heat gun, especially for removing the old stuff. And when you say wrap this around tight corners and stuff, you're going to want to heat it. You have to be careful if you're laying it down and peeling it off. If you heat it, it'll stretch, and then you'll end up with a bunch of crinkles. That's what happened on that piece I was putting on. I heated it a little too much, and it crinkled. Stuff like this that you get off eBay will come with, sometimes will come with, this one came with scissors, a razor knife, like a squeegee with some felt on it, so you don't scratch the vinyl wrap when you're laying it out, and a cloth, which will also help for smoothing it out. Another thing you're going to want is some vinyl adhesive. This is Bonds on Contact, good for vinyl and a bunch of other stuff. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Like I'm doing the nose. This, last time that I did it, I was able to just make it from corner to corner this way. So I was able to cut like a 12-inch length out of the tube, a 12-inch strip out of this tube, and go from there to there. Another thing to do would be to put it down. This ain't a very good example. 2 pieces on the nose, and then have them meet so they're like that. You will need more material. This ain't a very good example. You want to get the lines exactly the same if you can. That can be difficult. Like for some reason, even though this came off the same roll, it's actually kind of different. So I've seen it done, and it's done very good. I always just put 1 piece across. I just barely make it from corner to corner. That piece I did last time that I had to peel off when I first started this project here, it just barely came up maybe a 1/4 inch short. And I don't know if that's because that was sitting in the tube and it had a bunch of crinkles in it or what, or I just didn't stretch it enough. But I was able to make it before. I am going to test this, here to see if it will do it. If not, because I have a 96-inch length, I do have the option of rolling this out longer than 60 inches. That's what this tube is, like say 61 inches, and cut it that way. In other words, instead of cutting it lengthway this way, roll it out and cut like a 12-inch piece off that way. So, like I said, it's always good to order extra, and then you could use it on other projects, anything you have left over. So, let's see. I think I about covered it, yeah. Oh, for cleaning, if you're taking off old vinyl wrap, you're going to want something like Gooby Gone. Get rid of all the old glue. And then I used denatured alcohol, or denatured alcohol to wipe it down and get it all nice and clean. A lot of people like to put wax and stuff down, and then that makes it easier when you take the old stuff off, if you want to do that. And also, a lot of people like to spray down Windex and stuff if you're sliding it around and get the stuff off. The old helps you move it around if you're putting like a decal on. I find that works good for a decal when you're doing a large piece. That doesn't work so well. So you might want to, like I said, watch some of the professional videos and see how they do it. And I'm not a professional vinyl wrapper, so. But doing stuff like this, I think, is pretty easy. Like I said, it might take you 2 or 3 times to get it right. But using the eBay vinyl wrap, you can do it pretty inexpensively. And for covering up like my nose, which is kind of beat up, it works really well. And I like the way it looks. So let me move the camera around and see what we can do. right, there I am so far. It came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I got one little imperfection here that I ain't going to worry about. But I need to start cutting it with the razor. Now, when I laid this down and started at this corner and worked it over to the other corner, it actually wouldn't reach that other corner this length. But as I started working across, I pulled on it tight so it stretches. And it was originally a 1/4 inch short, and by the time I got all the way to the end, it stretched enough to just make it to the corner. Now, one other thing would have helped if I did this out in the sun on a warm day. You're better off doing this in a heated garage or on a warm day, so this stuff stretches easier and it sticks better. So next step is for me to cut it, and then I'll start working it underneath and around the corners, and to do that, I'll have to use the heat gun. But let me get to cutting it and then tucking it under. Once I make this cut across the top there, I'll put the hood in the up position, and that'll give me a lot of room to tuck it under. But yeah, let me get going to that, and hopefully it will stay looking the way it is, because it's looking pretty good, except that little imperfection. I don't know if I'm going to be able to work that out or not. If not, I'm just going to leave it, rather than try working it off and on again and then messing it up. So let me get going. All right, there it is, done. Now, is it perfect? No, there are a couple of imperfections. You have to look really close to see them. I'm actually real happy the way it came out. I don't know if you can tell in the video. One thing I notice about this stuff, when it gets out in the sun, like I got old, there's no air bubbles in this at all. But if I get it out in the sun, you'll get some air bubbles that will appear. And then when it cools back down, the air bubbles go away. It would have been better if I turned the car around, opened the garage door, and waited for the sun to come up and warm up. And it would have made it a lot easier to put on and stretch out. So something to keep in mind. Let me move the camera around. I'll try and get a closer up look. Keep in mind, if you're not familiar with my C4 Corvette, this has over 400,000 miles on it. And of course, the paint's pretty beat up. You can see where it was blended in badly by someone in the past, one of the previous owners. I guess they had a bra there or something, but yeah, most of the time you can't notice that. Like right now, because of the light, you can notice it. And like right now, this has a little bit of a gloss because of the light, but this is actually flat black and non-gloss. But hopefully you can see that. Little imperfection there. I might have to heat up, but overall, I'm pretty good, happy with it. And there's that one little imperfection. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just going to leave it. I might try and heat it up a little bit. I'm going to show you something with the heat gun. Like this corner here, I could probably heat up a little bit more. But it made it from corner to corner. Like I said, when I started at this corner, at first started, this corner was about a 1/4 inch short. But by pulling on it and, you know, working the squeegee, working it this way, it stretches. If I would have done this out in the sun, it would have been a lot easier and a lot better. So something to keep in mind. Let me move this camera around again, and we'll finish up this video, and I'll show you why you have to be careful with the heat gun. All right, that's done as far as I'm concerned. Now, I did not have to use any of the vinyl adhesive on some of the corners and stuff. I thought I would. I was able to heat it and get it to stick that way, but I've done it before and it'll end up peeling up. If it does end up peeling up, I'll then apply the glue and tuck it back under. Usually that's just around those sharp corners. I keep saying but anyway, let me show you what happens if you overheat the vinyl. And hopefully you guys can see this real good. But I'm going to stick this on low. And be careful when you're using a heat gun and laying this stuff down, you'll also burn your fingers. This is on the low setting. I'm going to heat it up. This ain't really a good example, but what happens is it stretches out too much and gets crinkly, and basically you get all these like crinkles in it that you'll never get out because it like stretches, and it won't stretch back. It just stretches and stays there and crinkles up, and that's why you got to be careful overheating it. If you do overheat it, you got to peel the piece off and do it again. It's a learning experience. Like I said, first time doing it, especially a large piece, expect to do it at least twice. So don't get upset if that happens. Just be patient. I don't think I remembered mentioning the masking tape, but you should have masking tape to hold the other end. If you're doing really large pieces, you definitely want two people, one person to help you hold the other end and help you lay it down. I actually thought about doing the whole car with this. I'm not sure I would like it, or either doing the whole bottom half of the car with this, or at least the whole front clip. That would be a lot more difficult, and I guarantee I would be doing that a lot of pieces over and over again. So who knows, maybe in the future I'll do that. But right now I just wanted to cover up that beat up nose, replace the vinyl that I had on there. Looks real good. It doesn't look as good, I think, on camera because of the glare from the lights, but it looks really good as far as I'm concerned. There's that one little imperfection. I ain't worried about that. Maybe I'll get it out in the sun and work it out. That's all for this video. I hope it was helpful, and don't be afraid to try some vinyl wrap, cheap eBay vinyl wrap. If you want, you can spend the big money on the 3M stuff, which is a lot better. I've never used it, but it's supposed to be a lot better. Something like this, it's great. Helps cover up that beat up nose, and just looks a lot better. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.